Hi, this is Arun. I'm a certified professional coder. In this video, we're gonna see billing tips on ABA claims. This PPT, I'm gonna cover topics: introduction of ABA service, ABA CPT codes, common denials in ABA with solution, importance of authorization in ABA industry, how to submit correct a claim and avoiding the incorrect claim, how to manage AR in ABA billing, what steps to be taken to increase the revenue in ABA billing. Autism spectrum disorder. It is a developmental disorder that affects communication and behavior. For example, a 2-year child has to communicate with their parents and the kid has to respond to the parents. If the kid having any communication or behavioral problem at the age of 2, the patient has to be taken to the ABA services and has to check whether the patient is affected by ABA or not. The common CPTs we are using is 97151, 152 for assessment and reassessment. 97153, 154 is for direct behavioral therapy individual and group. 97155 is for supervision. 97156, 157 is for parent training individual and group. 97158 is for social skills. We will see each CPT briefly. 97151, the description states behavior in identification assessment administered by a physician or other qualified healthcare profession. 97152 is for behavioral identification supporting assessment. The difference between 97151 and 97152 is 97151 is for assessment, 97152 is for supporting assessment. 97151 they have mentioned like physician or other qualified healthcare profession can administer the service, but in 97152 they have mentioned like administration administered by one technician under the direction of physician or other qualified healthcare professional. That means they're telling the technician in the sense RBT. An RBT can do a 97152 under the direction of a BCBA. Instead, 97151 can be only billable by a BCBA. 97151, the provider, a physician, or a qualified other qualified healthcare professional identifies the adaptive or maladaptive behavior of the patient by administering several different types of tests in person. He scores the test, interprets the result, develops a plan of care, prepares a report, and discusses his findings and recommendations with the parent, guardian, or a caregiver. Report this code for each 15 minutes that the provider spent in face-to-face time with the patient and non-face-to-face time analyzing past data. So we can use 15 minutes as a one unit, and we can use non-face-to-face time analyzing the past data also. 97152, a technician, I mean the RBT, under the guidance of a physician, that means BCBA, under the guidance of BCBA, assess the behavior of the patient by interacting directly with the patient. He identifies insufficient communication skills and specific destructive behavior such as self-injurious behavior, aggression, or property destruction. He assessed the patients on a variety of interactive, language, and social behaviors. He records his observations and uses various tests to further assess the patient's behavior. 97153, Adaptive behavior treatment by protocol, it's also called as direct behavioral therapy DBT, administered by a technician. That means it can be administered by a RBT under the direction of a BCBA, face to face with one patient. Each 15 minutes is considered as one unit. Instead, 97155 is adaptive behavioral treatment with protocol modification administered by a physician or a other qualified healthcare profession. That means it's the same service 97155 like 97153, but it can be only administered by a BCBA, and which may include simultaneous direction of technician face to face with one patient. Each 15 minutes is considered as one unit. In adaptive behavioral treatment, addresses a patient's specific target problems and treatment goals as defined by a provider in previous assessments. Goals of adaptive behavioral treatment may include reduction of repetitive and aberrant behavior and improved communication and social functioning. Adaptive behavior skill tasks are often broken down into small measurable units, and the patient practices each skill separately until the patient masters it. The technician directs the treatment based on overall treatment protocol designed by a provider. That means the RBT directs the treatment based on overall treatment protocol designed by a BCBA. 97154 Group Adaptive Behavioral Treatment by Protocol administered by a technician under the direction of physician. This means this is also a DBT, but this is for group, and this can be administered by an RBT under the supervision of a BCBA. This is a face-to-face with two or more patients. Each 15 minutes is considered as one unit. Even though it's for group, we cannot bill more than 8 patients. I mean, the group has, if the group has more than 8 patients. So the coding guidelines clearly states do not report 97154 if the group has more than 8 patients. 97156 Family Adaptive Behavioral Treatment Guidance administered by physician. That means administered by a BCBA with or without patient present. Face to face with the guardian or caregiver. Each 15 minutes is considered as one unit. In 97156, the provider meets with the patient's guardian or caregiver face to face. The patient may or may not be present. It's not necessary the patient has to be with the family adaptive behavioral treatment guidelines. We discuss the patient's problem behaviors or skill deficits with the guardians or caregivers, explains the treatment protocol, and teaches them how to interact with patient to reduce the maladaptive behavior and our skill deficits. 97157 is for multiple family group adaptive behavioral treatment guidance administered by physician or other qualified healthcare profession. So they are saying this has to be done by BCBA, not an RBT, without the patient present, face to face with multiple sets of guardians or caregivers each 15 minutes. The guideline states do not report 97157 if the group has more than 8 families. So more, we have to build this within families. The provider discusses multiple patients' adaptive behavioral treatment face to face with a group of guardians or caregivers without the respective patients being present. 97158 Group Adaptive Behavioral Treatment with protocol modification, also called as social skills, administered by a physician, administered by a BCBA, face to face with multiple patients. Each 15 minutes is considered as 1 unit. Do not report 97158 if the group has more than 8 patients. In 97158, the group session, the provider observes patients in a group setting and adjusts the therapeutic techniques. Okay, and for few insurance carriers, they do not accept 9 codes. These nine series codes, they are following a different codes. And let's see the H codes. They are following H codes. Let's see the H codes. Magellan ABA crosswalk. Magellan ABA crosswalk. Here they have mentioned like for ABA service for Magellan carrier, we have to build these codes with the modifiers. Instead of 97158, we have to build H2014, and they have mentioned who can build a service and who can't. Certified Behavioral Analyst (BCBA) or licensed image professional can build a service. If you're billing for a BCBA with H2014, we have to give HO modifier. So like that, they have given CPT codes with the modifiers. For example, here they have mentioned like direct therapy, H2019. They have mentioned HN modifier. That means BCABA can build a service with HN modifier, or certified supporting staff. That means RBT can build a service with HN modifier. BCBA not allowed to build H2019 for adaptive behavioral therapy. I mean, direct therapy one-on-one session. Uh, BCBA can build H2019 with HO modifier. That means the insurance will know that the service was done by a BCBA. So, so each insurance carrier is having this kind of manual. You have to check with them for the correct CPT codes in the manual. And here they have mentioned like the abbreviation for the modifier. HO means board certified behavioral analyst BCBA or a licensed image profession. HN means board certified assistant behavioral analyst BCABA or certified support staff. And then Call Optimo. Okay, let me show Call Optimo. Okay. I have a provider contract here. I think it's visible. Uh, Here they have mentioned CPT H0031 for a profession or registered behavioral therapist, not applicable. BCABA or behavioral management assistant, not applicable. BCBA, not applicable. BC, I'm sorry. Here it's BCBA. Okay. Here it's BCBA with HO modifier. The rate they have given for the provider is $31.25. They have mentioned 8 CPT and who can build a service and what modifier we can use it. For direct behavioral therapy, one-on-one with the RBT, they have mentioned we have to use HM modifier, HM, and the rate is $10.50. And if DBT done by BCABA, we have to use HN, and H2019, I mean DBT done by a BCBA, we have to bill HO. So here we have the modifier explanation. So when billing each pair, please check with the the payer, what CPT codes they are using, and what is the contract rate for that CPT codes. And okay, in ABA, the most common denials we are receiving is for authorization. I have three different scenarios. All three scenarios look same, but each are different. I'll explain each in detail. Scenario one, the claim got denied, and the denial code we have is EOB code. We have NAF. NAF means authorization is required for this service, and no active authorization is on file. For ABS services, authorization is mandatory. The claim is denied for there is no authorization at all. So the provider failed to get authorization that resulted the claim into a denial, right? So before submitting a claim, always check whether authorization is there or not. And once the patient comes in, get the authorization for all the AV services. And this is scenario two. Here, the claim is denied and the EOB code states GX. That means authorized unit exceeded. It, you feel like this is the same denial, but this is different. In this scenario, the provider already got the authorization, but here the authorization has exhausted. It's been exceeded. The authorization was already used. So we have to, check authorization for each services. For each date of services, whether the authorization is completed or is there any other authorization available for the date of service. And the scenario three, here we have multiple CPTs for this DOS 916, all are 916 and couple of, sorry, not 916, 615, and couple of DOSes 617, and CPTs 97155, 156, 158, 80032, 97155, 97153, and most of the CPTs got paid except one code 97158. The denial code we have is HQ. The reason is HQ required authorization is not on file for this claim submission. You can be wondering why this, all CPTs paid and this one was denied. I'll explain that. When giving an authorization, insurance give like authorization XXX is for 97155 and 97156. Authorization YYY is for 97158, and authorization for H0032 is for uh, I mean ZZZ. Authorization is for ZZZ. When authorization is exhausted, if the authorization is not obtained for 97158, that resulted denial for that particular CPT alone. So always check whether all CPT codes got authorized or not. And another denial we used to get in ABS services is non-covered because it's a duplicate claim. We have a claim, we have a EOB code states, denial code state GF1. That means the service is not covered because it's a duplicate claim or it's related to a service submitted on a previous claim. Sometimes what people do is they submit claim twice incorrectly, or they submit claim, the correct claim without the denial reason code. So insurance consider it as a duplicate claim. Once you get this denial, always check the original claim status. If this is a duplicate claim, this claim should definitely have an original claim, right? So always get a status for original claim. And the importance of authorization in ABA. As I stated earlier on my previous slide, authorization is very important in ABA service. And how to approach for authorization. Verify the patient's eligibility and ABA benefits once patients comes in to the ABA service. Once the insurance says like ABA benefits are covered, then ask them, where do we get the auth request form? Is it in the portal, or can you submit through a fax or email something? And then once you complete the form, I ask them where to submit. Most of the auth form contains the address or the fax number to submit. And then once you submit the auth form, completed auth form, what happens is clinical review takes place in payer side, and the and coverage determination will be done. Sorry. And once you got the authorization, save the authorization number in patient documents in order to avoid the authorization denial. Okay, here I have a new claim. In this slide, I'm gonna explain you how to do a correction and void a duplicate claim. I mean, void a denied claim. This is a new claim. We have mentioned like 97153 unit. Here, 1 unit. So this is a correct claim. If we wanted to correct the units, we have to mention corrected claim in box 19. Corrected claim, then resubmission code 7 in box 22, and we have to mention the claim number from the EOB. And I have changed the units into 2. Previously it was 1, 97153 1 unit. Now I have changed the units for 97153 into 2. If if the service is built incorrectly, the service was not done at all, that time we have to mention like resubmission code 8 in box 22 and the claim number from the EOB. That means the insurance will know that the claim was submitted incorrectly. They are telling us to void the claim, so they will void the claim. Okay, how to manage AR in ABA billing? Submit claims to payers in weekly basis. Some billing companies will submit claims on monthly basis, but I recommend you to submit claims on weekly or bi-weekly. But my most suggestion is weekly basis. Submit all claims on weekly basis. Fix a day, Monday or a Friday or any other day. Uh, Allocate the time for claim submission and submit all the claims on that particular day on each week. Generate AR report once in every 15 days. Once you submit a claim, every 15 days, generate AR report and check claim status. Once you're working with the ABA billing company, always get the portal logins. Check the claim status through portal logins. If you don't have a portal logins, call the insurance and get the claim status for for every 15 days, once in every 15 days. And the next step is separate AR report based on aging. And once they have said like the claim is on file, you can go for the AR report. Separate the AR based on the aging, 0 to 30, 31 to 60, 61 to 90, 90 plus aging. Concentrate mostly on 90 plus aging claims, because uh, once it passed the timely filing, it's very hard to retrieve the payment. So first preference should be 90 plus aging report. then move on to 61 to 90, then 31 to 60, then 0 to 30. Okay. Steps to be taken to increase the revenue in ABA industry. Check eligibility and benefits on January month every year. When I worked for ABA industry during my work, we used to check eligibility and benefits on every January, every year of January, whether the patient is eligible or is there any other insurance that the patient have, and is ABS covered or is there any changes in the coverage or something like that. We used to have a separate Excel which has all the patients, name, insurance name, and the ID number and the date of birth and provide information, everything. We used to document it, and we used to have it for our references. If there is no coverage or in some other insurance is primary, we used to escalate to the provider office to get the new uh, insurance ID card or the exact information what we want from the patient. Identify and fix the root cause of the problem in denials. Okay, instead of just calling and documenting the denials, identify the root cause of the problem. Once you found the problem, root cause of the problems, you can easily fix it. Generate patient statement every month, starting, and bill patient. I used to bill patient on uh, date 1 to 5 on every month. Copay, deductibles and everything. I used to generate patient statement and I used to send to the provider office. They used to bill it to the patient. uh, Use more web portals instead of calling the peers us. Yes, I have said in previous slides. Once you got the ABA billing, get the provider portals for all the payers. Most of the payers now having a provider portals like it now. They have Navinet, Cigna. There's a separate portal. BCBS, they have a separate portal. Availability, I think BCBS is for availability, and you would see they have different portal. So get all the provider portal logins instead of calling and waiting for a queue to speak with a representative. If you have logins, you can check the status through online and make the process very simple. Use web portals for claim submission instead of clearinghouse. Some payers will pay immediately if we use claim submission through their portal. For example, I use Value Options web portal for claim submission. Other payers I used to send through clearinghouse. I use Office Ally as a clearinghouse, but for Value Option, I used to manually enter the charges. The value option already has the authorization number and every authorization details on their portal. So once you enter the charges and give the provider information, basic patient information, and once you hit the submit button, you can see how much they're going to pay. The only information is not available is the check number at the time of claim submission. The check number will be generated in 7 to 10 days in the web portal. You can find the check number in web portal in 7 to 10 days. So always use web portals for claim submission. Most of the payers are now accepting that. And create standard operating procedure for your practice. Always create SOPs. That is the most important thing. When you create an SOP, you can mention the timely filing and the claim submission address, corrected claim address, and the appeals address, and appeals time limit, character claim time limit, everything can have a documentation. Instead of calling the payer each and every time, once you have the SOP, you can, utilize the time, and you can have like which providers in network with which payer and which providers out of network, and you can have which insurance having trouble. I mean, which insurance we're getting denials and what kind of denials and how to solve it. When you have SOP, it is easy for the others to follow the same. When you're sick and you're on leave, when your junior or your colleague is working on that practice, when he refers or she refers the SOP, they will easily identify the root cause and how to fix the problem. So always have the SOP. Have a good relationship with the provider office. So when you have a good relationship with the provider office, when you call them, they're happy to help you out. When you call them and ask, like, need the authorization details for a particular patient, they will, send you the authorization details. So when you don't have a good communication with the provider office, they will delay the process, and that results in the denials. Share your knowledge with your team. Always share what you have learned in ABA, billing and coding. When you share your thoughts, they also used to share their thoughts. When I worked for one practice, I used to share my thoughts during the meeting. The others also used to share. They tell like how they have approached the problem and how they have, you know, got payment for the particular claim or avoided the denials. So always share your knowledge to others. That's it. If you have any doubts, kindly contact me. I'm happy to help you out. Thank you so much. Bye bye.